Hey, everybody!
I already have quite a lot of time on Guess 666, and I've mostly enjoyed my time playing as them. This killer is typically pretty fun to play as, but not so much to go against. I think it's time I provide a full analysis and review on this killer. Now, rest assured, while Sixer has a few blaring weaknesses, he is still very, very capable, and she's definitely brought about some concerns about the future state of Forsaken, for me at least, so let's talk about it.
Did you know that less than 10% of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed to the channel?
Do you realize how unacceptable this is? If you enjoy and want to see more, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really helps my channel to grow and encourages me to keep making videos like this. Don't you forget that you can also support me by joining my Discord server to chat or make suggestions, as well as by following my Roblox profile to join my games. You can do both via the links in the description. I appreciate it, bro!
This is the Forsaken video you guys wanted, right? No, here it is.
I'll start by establishing that there seems to be a bit of mixed reception on Guess 666 so far. Some people think they suck absolute balls, and I don't really blame them for feeling that way, because Sixer is one of those characters that requires a decent amount of time to pick up and play right. But trust me, once you get the gameplay down, you will perform well. Other people think Sixer is a brainless fucking circus animal with zero strategy and zero counterplay, and they aren't really wrong either, to be honest. What both sides need to recognize is that Guess 666 is a snowballer, meaning you focus on taking each survivor out one by one, just like Slasher, although I reckon Guess 666 is even more consistent than that guy. So yeah, the more survivors are removed, the better the odds are for you. Going against a coordinated team, though, is just the worst possible matchup for her, so picking people that are most important off as quickly as you possibly can is your best shot at winning. Tough luck. If you don't do this, you are going to lose. Simple as that. I think the best way to go about this is to hemorrhage someone and then farm blood points off them until you unlock Blood Hunt, which is probably the most fun-ruining ability that I've ever seen, ever. But we'll talk about that later. Oh my god, bro. Guest's passives are absolutely mind-blowing. When I read through these for the first time, I was genuinely gobsmacked. The first one especially. Manic Fixation, which I didn't even know existed during my first few games, by the way. What you need to know is that Sixer gains a 10% speed boost when running towards a highlighted survivor. Now, despite Guest being the slowest killer alongside 1X, you're essentially given 29.7 sprint speed consistently in a chase without any real punishment for it. Who the fuck allowed this? For perspective, Slasher is the fastest killer in the game and even he has a sprint speed of 28. So this passive alone makes Guest practically inescapable if you've been highlighted. You may as well strap a welcome mat to your asshole and like accept your fate rather than run. I cannot believe this was approved. And the other passive is Blood Hunt, which isn't as exciting, I'm afraid. I think it pretty much just explains how the hemorrhage effect works. It just takes away from your max health and it can be removed by another player or through a med kit. But since we're on the topic of hemorrhage, I do not like it. I would say that is probably the most toxic status effect they've added to the game. The fact I actually have to go out of my way to find one of my dumb fuck idiot teammates and fiddle around with a console cursor just so I can request their help. And even then, a lot of the time it'll just be talking to a brick wall. It's just all so terrible. Saddest part is I wouldn't even need to include this segment if the people who play this game weren't completely brain dead. Sometimes people even acknowledge I need help and then refuse to heal me anyway. Why? I have no idea. They're just assholes. Whatever. You better pray that you're playing with some actually decent human beings or your friends whenever you go up against Guess 666, because it just... Anyway, I got carried away. Sorry. The real important takeaway from this passive is that those with hemorrhoids drop blood orbs for Guess 666 to slurp up, which will, slowly fill their blood meter thingy. Pretty much everything you do grants you blood, so it isn't really difficult to reach the threshold for a blood hunt. From what I can see, collecting blood also reduces your ability cooldowns, which is just...
Yeah, he really needed this, guys.
come on, you shouldn't need me to spell it out for you. These passives are just completely broken and annoying, and whoever designed these has to be either an alcoholic or has a drug problem, because if these choices were made sober, I don't even know what to say.
5 minutes into the video and we're finally talking about the abilities. God, I'm so good at my job!
Okay, so Sixer technically has 2 M1 attacks, which was completely unheard of in Forsaken until right now. And if you think that sounds unbalanced, you're completely right. Carving Slash comes first and is a simple 20 damage attack with no bullshit other than let me see here. Oh yeah, the inescapable hitbox. But hey, I can't really complain about it. It does make sense. I mean, look how big he is. Oh, it's so big and so fat. I mean, then again, I say that, but then I end up missing 90% of my M1s anyway. That's nothing to do with the balancing, of course. I'm just shite at this game. Another thing you should notice is that this M1 can pierce through multiple survivors. Yeah, you may as well just remove Slasher from the game at this point. But if you hold down your M1 the whole time, Guest follows up with Eviscerate, and I have a lot of issues with this ability. It causes you to lunge forwards and deal an additional 10 damage, all the while giving the survivor AIDS. I mean hemorrhage. If you land it, you reap all the rewards, and if you miss, well, you lose nothing. Yeah, you don't really get punished for it at all. I mean, yes, there is a small slowness debuff they added, like Behead has, but if anything, you get a free distance closer in the end.
Yo, editor's note, I'm also not sure why this ability costs 10 blood points to use, since you get 10 blood points per M1 anyway. But oh well, I don't care, I'm not paid enough to care.
Let me tell you, there is nothing fun about constantly getting hit with a 30 damage combo that you just cannot get away from no matter what. If you're on your own, your fate is pretty much sealed. It pisses me off, there's no real counterplay to this. I mean, are you low on stamina? You can't avoid it, and you can't juke it anyway. That'll cause you to lose even more of your lacking stamina. It just sucks to play against.
Bro, is that walk speed override again?
Demonic Pursuit is unique in that it can be used to dash vertically or horizontally depending on the situation. And what disappoints me most is that it has really good vertical potential, which is something that most brainless children don't even consider. I think people just treat it like another walk speed override, which is understandable, I guess. I think this ability is really good. Somehow it's the most balanced fucking thing in Sixer's kit, if you can believe that. I know, I can't either. I am serious though. It doesn't deal much damage if it isn't held down, and definitely has solid counterplay, which is something you don't see very much against this character, but, you know, examples of, like, Guest's block. Sorry, Guest 1337. I forgot there's more of them now. I don't want to racially profile them, do I? Anyway, the distance you can cover at that high of a speed is still insane. I think it's faster than any of the other dash abilities, which admittedly does make it really hard for survivors to predict and react to, with the main disadvantage being that you can't turn with it. So yeah, in my opinion, Void Rush still remains superior. Please nerf Noli. What makes it more balanced in my eyes is that you get heavily punished if you miss. I mean, in most cases, you're going flying across the map, and you can't stop yourself unless you collide with something. If you mess up a Demonic Pursuit and Last Man Standing, you might be cooked completely, so be careful. And in addition, I'm glad you can charge the ability up to increase the distance and damage, because it's initially pretty weak. The starting damage is really low for a dash ability, so I'd recommend holding it in for an extra second. It actually makes quite a big difference. Most players swear Demonic Pursuit is completely brainless, but I'd argue there is a skill in estimating how long you need to charge a jump to get a perfect landing. But apart from that, yeah, the dash is pretty easy to pull off. So yeah, good job, guys. I like it. Not bad, not bad. Give me the next ability. I'm hungry. During my first few rounds, I thought this ability, Infernal Cry, was completely useless. I'm serious, I thought it just blinded the survivors and that was it, but it's way, way more important than that. Note that it highlights every survivor it hits, and when you think back to that passive we talked about earlier, things start to make much more sense. Adding in the passive turns this ability basically into Entanglement version 2, giving Sixer 29.7 speed. This allows you to catch up to pretty much anyone with ease. Remember that it is a projectile, and even after the hitbox size reduction, it's still hard to miss with it if you ignore my gameplay. Unless the survivor is super far away and can see it coming. It's also on a short enough cooldown to the point where missing doesn't really punish you that much. Oh yeah, I've avoided talking about it for this long, but Guest gets looped hard. Harder than any other killer, like so hard right in the asshole, like right inside my asshole, like so deep inside my asshole. This ability doesn't nullify the pain of getting looped around a tiny rock or cars or whatever, but it does help to catch up a little bit, which is much appreciated. I actually quite like that. But yeah, if you get hit by this and you're out in the open, or if nobody's nearby to help, and this is Forsaken, so you already know your teammates are not going to help you, you're essentially going to lose most of your health and will probably die. So, yeah. Balanced!
Did anybody else forget that this existed?
Don't worry, I won't spend too long on this. Blood Rush is your standard aura read ability. Nothing much to say about it, although I'm surprised she got one in the first place. It's still really good and lasts surprisingly long on faraway targets. It once again triggers the Manic Fixation passive, but it's not as impactful here as it is in Infernal Cry. It's fine. This one isn't the big deal. It's what replaces it that really counts. When you reach the blood threshold, you can start a blood hunt. Blood Hunt is probably one of the best killer abilities in the entire game. In fact, it might just be the best ability, full stop. More speed, more damage, buffs to every ability, non-existent terror radius, become unstunnable, pause the timer, extend the hunt timer and recharge all of your abilities per kill. Sorry, am I missing anything? It increases the damage of the M1 in Demonic Pursuit, sure, but most importantly, it gives you insane group chip damage with Infernal Cry. 10 doesn't seem like a lot, but it does add up quickly, and it's very satisfying if you hit multiple people with it. There is no way they thought this could ever be fair. If you are the target of a blood hunt, no matter how long you've been chased for, you die. You just die. There is no counter, and there is no hope for you. I know you're not stupid enough to need me to tell you that this is unfair. Of course it's unfair! Obviously it wasn't coded into the game with the plan on it being fucking fair. I could ramble for hours upon hours about how bad this ability really is for the future state of the game. I feel like a rage mode type of thing doesn't really work as well as you think it could in Forsaken. I know this ability was planned since the very, very beginning of Forsaken's development and existence, but I cannot believe that it stayed. This is the #1 thing that makes Guest so insufferable to play against. There's nothing fun about dying immediately without a single thing you can do to save yourself or the others. It sucks all the fun out of the game, and because Sixer is the brand new toy, I'm never not playing against her, at least in my lobbies. Oh yeah, all of that without mentioning the fact that everything turns red. You can't see or hear shit. So you need to be very, very aware of your surroundings so you can avoid getting mutilated out of nowhere. Oh wait, yeah, that's right. You've probably already died in the time it's taken me to write out this last paragraph. The only possible flaw I see is probably just a personal thing, but mate, I can't see shit. As the killer, I mean. I don't know what it is, but even when a highlighted survivor is standing next to me, literally nose deep between my cheeks, I just can't see them. This is actually a continuous problem I have with the entire character. I have a vendetta against this fat prick's camera perspective. I don't know whether it's my failing vision or what, but I always end up losing track of my targets regardless of how close they are. It's so frustrating. Oh, yeah, and by the way, the conditions you need to use Blood Hunt aren't as crazy as they make it out to be. I've seen several people have access to Blood Hunt up to 3 or 4 times in one match. I know the threshold increases after every hunt, but I cannot believe this is legal. Whoever designed this ability, I'm pretty sure it was fucking Soul last year, by the way, needs to be executed publicly. That's all I have to say. Now, with the moveset covered, let's do the final review so I can end this.
I'm gonna fucking kill myself.
I'll end off with a brief review on the killer, just in general. Firstly, it wouldn't be fair if I didn't bring up guests' thematics, because I always do. They are fantastic. I know their design is somewhat controversial in the community because of how different it is to the source material, but I personally love it. The animations are smooth and clean, her skins are really well designed, and lastly, their chase theme is seriously fantastic. Exedius did such a good job on that track. It's better than I ever thought it would be. Dead Ringer is also pretty good. I don't think it's too crazy though. Do you guys agree? Let me know in the comments. Okay, playing against Sixer though is another story. That shit is not fun in the slightest, unless you somehow end up with a synergized team. This killer, like Slasher, just locks onto you and tears you apart, and with so little counterplay, other than looping around a small rock like a Scooby-Doo episode for 2 minutes, it just makes logging onto this game so tedious, and it feels like none of my teammates want to help me out anyway, because, you know, they fucking suck. As for actually using them, I've already chattered on for the last 15 minutes. The gameplay is completely fine. He is a very strong killer. Maybe a little bit too strong in some regards, with busted passives, a fundamentally broken M1, and a friggin' tough abilities. But that's not to say there aren't devastating flaws that turn this beast into a harmless, useless little kitten. My issue with playing guest stems from the lack of map control. It just feels like I never have enough time to really get the work done. Even if I manage to kill like a few survivors, I always seem to run out of time getting the last few, even if I'm practically up their asses the whole round. I also mentioned earlier that the camera perspective is kind of dog shit, but that might just be the fact that I haven't fully adjusted to it yet, and we'll see how it ages the more I play. Finally, it's not that often I find myself in competent lobbies, but when I do, I feel a bit powerless, which honestly sucks. It doesn't feel too good getting looped around rocks or cars or whatever the hell for the whole round either. If you are one of those players who goon all game and loop around a building the entire round, you're just stupid, fat, and gay, and I hate you! So, congratulations, Forsaken developers. You made a cool killer. You released a good update. Sure, it might not have perfect balancing, but you did good. For the first time in a long time, I actually had genuine fun playing Forsaken, and that's all I can really ask for. Do I think Guest 666 is the best killer? No. In fact, I wouldn't even say he's in the top 3, surprisingly. We'll talk more about that another time, maybe. But now I want to hear your thoughts. Let me know how you feel about this new killer in the comments below. I'll maybe even read them. Sorry for taking so long to make this video, by the way. I was too busy dying from a kidney infection and COVID at the same time, and I also played Dispatch all day instead of doing anything productive. If you enjoyed, don't forget to subscribe. As I said earlier, it really helps to support me and really helps me to grow the channel. I'll see you next time for the Veronica review, if you want to see it. Can't wait.